all the students, the staff, the faculty, the management of TV Education, Student Academic International College, SAIC, Shepherd College, Triton International School and College, and all of the viewers for joining us today for our online talk show podcast series, the 8th episode, themed Youth Inspiration and Knowledge. The topic of our today's talk show is scaling up from an undisputed business leader's perspective. We welcome a valuable guest and speaker for this session, a person who needs no introduction, Mr. Raj B Shah. Raj, thank you and please welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Most welcome. Thank you so much. Now, just to give viewers a little background on Mr. Raj and his organization that he represents. So Mr. Raj is the managing director of Jawalakhel Group of Industries, a business conglomerate covering multiple companies and that manufacture and distribute alcoholic beverages from its 5 manufacturing units, which are the most modern and state-of-the-art. Mr. Raj joined the 6th generation family business in the year 1999 after his completion of studies in the United States. His first major achievement was the collaboration with Seagrams India to introduce the leading domestic whiskey brand for over a decade. The companies under JGI thereon expanded to introduce a gamut of alcoholic beverages in various categories, which propelled it to become the leader in Nepalese liquor and beverage industry. Jawalakhel Group of Industries has come a long way from small-scale pot still distillation to mass production 12-column distillation, all thanks to the great vision of Mr. Raj, complemented by business experts and modern manufacturing facilities. Some of its most popular brands include Ruslan, Golden Oak, Warsteiner, Bacardi, Budweiser, Corona, Stella, Hoegaarden, among others. Liquor may be a sensitive topic related to educational institution. However, the fact remains that Jawalakhel Group of Industries, under Mr. Raj's leadership, have scaled up and transformed not only their own organization, but also set a higher benchmark and standards for competition within Nepal. His group is one of the largest employers in Nepal today, and definitely one of the highest taxpayers to the Nepal government. Their annual turnover exceeding 3,400 crores. Wow. Now, without any further ado, I would like to dig into the questions, Rajda.
Sure.
My first question to you, Rajda, is that, you joined the 6th generation family business, as we said, in 1999. In those times, Nepal was witnessing Maoist civil war and alcohol industries were prime targets for ransom and extortion. Your organization even shut down production for months due to these reasons. Then there was severe electricity crisis too, among other problems. I read in an article somewhere that when you were handed the management, besides all these problems that were taking place, your organization had huge loans and were faced with aggressive competition too, while you also set about modernizing the organization. You definitely have a huge appetite for risk. Would you share with us your journey from that point on till now in brief, Rajda, please?
Thank you very much. Namaste to all of you. I hope you're all being safe, being healthy, and being strong. Well, in the past 20 years, just like most of all of us Nepalese, we've all been through many difficult times. And I had 2 choices, whether to give up and run away or to stay and survive. So let me start by saying I'm just like any one of you guys. I'm a normal guy with normal likes and dislikes. I get excited, I get demotivated, I get scared, I get aggressive, but I'm no different from any one of you. When most people get scared, they become defensive. I had a difficult choice to make, and I decided to go forward very aggressively and to be proactive. But I was very lucky because of my parents. Both my parents were involved in my work. My father taught me to be honest, not to steal taxes so I could sleep well at night. He taught me also never to settle for anything less than the best the world has to offer. The best is never cheap. My mother, she also was a part of our management, and she worked very hard, and she expected nothing less from her team. If you have the right attitude, discipline, and consistency, you can go forward. She taught me how to be generous and to help others. The greatest happiness comes from giving and helping other people. I'm a firm believer in getting good people on your team and investing and training on them. I keep educating myself and learning new ways to work. I believe in continuous improvement. I believe in getting out of the comfort zone. I know to survive, you have to be adaptable, flexible, innovative, and aggressive. To be competitive, you have to treat work like sports or like war. because it's very competitive. And if you're sleeping, you will get stepped on. My work for me is very personal. It's who I am. I love doing it. Many times I can't sleep at night or I wake up very early. Those who work for me know that at least maybe 2 to 3 times a week, I send them emails or WhatsApp messages at 4 o'clock in the morning. Today's situation is very similar to what we faced 20 years ago, when you thought nothing would work out. It was dangerous, it was unsafe, and you have to make hard decisions. The biggest challenge is it's impossible to predict what's going to happen, and you don't know when it's going to end, and that causes a lot of stress. You know, with business, whether you're doing well or bad, especially when you're bad, the banks or government is not going to help you out. You need to help yourself. If you take a loan, you have to pay it back, or else you have to run away. 20 years ago, the government was unstable and was just trying to stay in power. Doesn't that sound like it is today also? You have to be very careful. You can't just take risks blindly, but you need to make calculated risks. You have to realize that when times are bad, everything goes bad. Your family, the competition, your workers, your partners will all turn against you and take advantage if you're not careful. When I came back from the States 20 years ago, I had to sell my family assets. I had to go public. I sold 15 ropenis of land in Jawalakhel behind the zoo for 3 lakhs an anna. Today it's worth 60 lakhs an anna. So you can just imagine how difficult it is for me to drive by that place. I learned a lot from my multinational partners. I changed my management and got good people. Believe me, it wasn't me who changed my company. It was my entire team who made a difference. And if you think you know all the answers, believe me, you don't. I have 3 major areas I look in when I look at people. They need to have experience and knowledge, they need to work hard, and they need ethics. You can teach and enforce people to have knowledge and to work hard, but you cannot teach or train someone to have ethics. And this is something that is really needed. You need to develop much better management skills, and you need to become very market oriented with traders and customers, especially today when everyone has a phone and can find things out overnight. You need to focus on new products, and your advertising quality has to be consistently growing and focused to the young people. Do you know that Nepal is one of the youngest populations in the world? And it makes a big difference, and your products have to be focused towards them. If you're not, you're going to lose out. And you're going to lose out fast. In the olden days, it would take 5 years to lose a company. Today, it'll take maybe 5 months, you know? But you have to take a lot of risks, and you take a lot of failures, but you have to keep getting up. The trick is to keep taking risks and keep getting up. Resilience. For me, I'm not in this business for profit. That's why I reinvest 50% of my profits back into my companies, either for expansion, innovation, or R&D. That's what keeps me ahead. In 20 years, I've launched 75 brands, of which only 10 survive. I've invested in 20 different businesses, of which 5 survive. For a person like me in a business like this, only 10% of my brands succeed, and it's much worse for others. I've been bankrupt almost 4 times, and even now, I don't know where the situation is going to be. No one knows. But due to hard work, right choices, and most of all, with God's grace and blessings, I've been lucky. 20 years ago, my annual turnover, today is my daily turnover. And it wasn't easy. And God had a lot of good grace and good blessings to me for me to go forward. Thanks.
Incredible, Rajs. And I think you mentioned this word innovation, which brings me to my next question. Uniqueness and innovation is something that is essential for the sustainable success of any organization. However, we mostly notice businesses in Nepal copying each other's business ideas, tweaking the names and packaging, and display zero innovation to create their own uniqueness and identity. Innovation is lacking even in the internal business processes. Could you comment your views on the importance of innovation and how it's lacking in Nepal?
अब के भन्ने अब यो हाम्रो नेपालीहरूको यो ठुलो कमजोरी हो क्या but maybe because of the weak laws and the small fines. In my company, I have 2 or 3 brands that have 40 copycat brands. From far away, if you look at them, it looks like my product, but it's not. And there's such weak laws with such small fines that people do it. But mainly, I feel the where it is to blame is our poor, weak, outdated education system that doesn't nurture more creativity and innovation. Today, in the modern world with digital skills, you really need to keep up really hard because the world is moving fast. And if you're not on top of it and your education system is not there, it won't work. The pass and fail system, because the people have choice, the people are educated. So innovation is not something you should have, you must have, or else you'll be out of business. If you're not unique and different, why will someone choose your product? We spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money to constantly satisfy our customers with new and fun ways to create memorable experiences. This is why we do well. Memorable experiences, not about how it tastes. It's about when you wake up the next day and say, oh my God, wow, Tarun and I had a great time last night. That's what it's all about. But innovation isn't easy. It's expensive to be creative and it's easy to copy. But unfortunately, copying doesn't really work out in the long term. If the government does not have good, strong systems to protect industries, they fall apart. When I came back from the US in 99, well, it was 2000 technically, there was only 8 distillery licenses. Today it's 1,500 licenses. I joke with my friends saying it's easier to get a distillery license than to get a driving license. There's so many industries in Nepal that have suffered because of over competition. Poultry, garments, carpets, pashmina, steel, cement, noodles, apartments, shopping malls, drinking water, TV, FM, online news, snooker halls, dance restaurants, bowling alleys. There's so many. They're all great ideas, but it doesn't work when you have over 600 online news portals. How can you get ahead? It's very difficult. Only through innovation it works. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you for taking that question. Rather now, since you spoke about the efforts and the uniqueness, and the innovation aspect that goes into establishing a quality brand, I would like to touch upon. My next question touches on one of your most popular brands, Ruslan Reloaded. In 2015, you relaunched the Ruslan Reloaded vodka brand with complete makeover, giving it an international packaging and alongside great marketing and branding strategies. Today, Ruslan has a staggering market share of 88%, if I'm not wrong. I got this information data from somewhere. What, according to you, were the primary reasons for the brand's success, Rajs?
Well, you have to realize, Ruslan, it's a drink from the late 1960s, 70s. So you drink too, okay? It was an old man's drink. It was what your father and grandfather drank. And we needed a makeover because we realized the big population was the young people. So we had to make Ruslan young again. So we hired in a consultancy firm with a man from Amsterdam, and he worked on a whole new concept for Ruslan to make it young, attractive. But it wasn't just the packaging. We built a brand new distillery, Himalayan distillery, with a state-of-the-art grain distillery. Basically, the packaging has to be good, the marketing has to be good, but the main thing to product ma dam hunu paryo kya. And this much our grain ENA basically gave less hangover, which for Nepalese is very important because if they're drinking a lot, they want to wake up the next day with less hangover. No matter what you do with marketing, what you do with everything else, quality is the most important thing on. And quality does not come cheap. You have to change your target groups. And this changing of target groups, we have to do all the time. You have to focus more on the consumer. It's one of our lines for Ruslan is it's happy water for fun people. People like to have fun and they like to have a good time. They like to go dancing. They like to go to festivals. They like Holi. They like Dasai. They like playing cards. But you have to constantly keep changing with the way it goes. But without quality, believe me, nothing can happen because your competitors, so many competitors have died in the last 20 years. They've come and gone simply because they can't maintain quality. But quality is king all the time.
Well said, and I absolutely agree to your answer saying that we can have the most elaborate marketing strategies and stuff, but if we fail on the quality aspects of the product itself, then it's a no-brainer. It's not going to move ahead. So thank you for taking that question, Razdai. Now I would like to go to the next question, which is connected to this idea of quality with this new product that you'll have launched, Warsteiner beer, and it's a quality, no doubt, because that's one of my favorite beers that I have in the Nepal market. I mean, while I'm here in Nepal. Now, I would like to touch on that question. Your collaboration with Warsteiner, which is, one of the largest breweries in Germany, to bring in this world-class beer production and distribution to the Nepal market. Your organization has already invested 35 million US dollars, which is approximately 400 crores, with plans to invest a further 15 million, which is approximately 180 crores, making the total deal worth approximately 600 crores. Would appreciate your comments on what it takes and what goes behind initiating and executing such a large-scale strategic partnership, Razai.
Well, first of all, you have to be a little bit crazy. You have to take risks. Life without risks is not fun. When you think of mountains, you think of Nepal. When you think of whiskey, you think of Scotland. When you think of vodka, you think of Russia. But when you think of beer, you think of Germany. Warsteiner is the largest family-owned brewery in Europe. They're the official beer of Lufthansa. Germany has 4,000 beers, but we chose Warsteiner simply because, not because of anything else, because we tried hundreds of them, and the best one was Warsteiner. It's light, it's crisp, it's very high quality, it's got a great taste, and the family is amazing. The owners are real people, not multinationals, not CEOs or CFOs. This company is older than Mercedes. It was made before Thomas Edison made the light bulb. And for them, it's much more than about money. And our families had similar values. And I spent a lot of money to get that brand. I ordered all German machines. I use only German raw materials besides our water. And I have German trained brewmasters. It is the best brewery in South Asia. And now we've tied up with AB InBev. And those of you who don't know, AB InBev is the largest brewery group in the world. They own brands like Budweiser, Foster's, Stella, Corona, and Hoegaarden. But AB InBev is so big that it's number one, number 2 to 6, all put together, aren't even equal to it. But the reason they came to me is simply because I had invested so much money into quality. And I learned from the Germans how to do it. And the Germans are the best when it comes time to this. That's it.
Short and sweet, but impactful. Thank you. That was a. And I'm getting a message from my team saying that it's going pretty amazing. So I just got a little carried away. Now, but thank you, Razai, for taking that question. Now, my next question to you, Razai, is that, gaining the know-how and expertise from your various global collaborations and leveraging them to develop the necessary research and development and internal expertise required to scale up your own Nepali brand to be the market leader. Now, could there be any scope for competing with international brands in global market for your local products, please?
Well, I hope so, because now more than ever, the world is changing due to the digitization. People like homegrown, people like local, people like small, people like unique, people like organic, people like green. So times are changing. At the same time, in a place like Nepal, people want something that's good for value. It's cheap, that can give a run for its money in quality, but is affordable. We're seeing that a lot in Nepal. People want something good, but they don't have what it takes. They don't have what is needed. It's expensive. Multinationals are professionally managed and have global access with the best minds, the best experiences, and resources in the world. But today, Nepalese are slowly starting to trust Nepalese brands, slowly. And I think in a due course of time, more Nepalese will prefer Nepalese brands. But there is a lot of work to be done because you have to be affordable and your quality has to be up to date. But the hardest part is the fact that most people don't go for quality. Yeah, हाम्रो नेपालीहरुको बानी एकदम नराम्रो छ किन just नेपाली हामी South Asianहरुको सामान किन्दाखेरि you choose only what's cheapest, right? You don't choose what's best. And if you're going to continue to do that in business or in life, you won't be different. You won't get value addition. The trick, obviously, also with local players, they're happier with lower margins. They're willing to make faster decisions and take more risks, which multinationals are not. So I hope there is scope, but in liquor, it's very difficult.
Great. Well, I hope that we see the first Nepali liquor brand, domestic local brand, coming out of Jawalakhel Group of Industries in the global markets, which me, as a Nepali, when I'm traveling, makes me proud. And I really hope that you are the first organization to introduce that feat. Thank you, Razdai, for taking the question. Now, Razdai, since you spoke of, since you mentioned this word, small, homegrown, it brings me to my next question, which is connected to these words. There's a growing trend for supporting microbreweries as a part of tourism strategy practiced by many countries. I believe these not only promote the country's traditional heritage, but it also is good for the local economy. Do you think such kind of tourism schemes would be practical in Nepal, supporting microbreweries?
Well, I've studied this a lot. And before building this giant brewery, my initial plan was to build a microbrewery only. But I did a lot of homework, and I have great people on my team that convinced me otherwise. Even though I have a very large-scale brewery that's very state-of-the-art, I myself am planning to make niche Nepali brands in the near future. It'll take some time, but I'm definitely, it's already on the chart. The big difference between what is a microbrewery and what is a large-scale brewery. A microbrewery simply is a brewery that produces and sells in the same site. So it's like a restaurant that makes beer. The problem with this is the restaurant business itself is very risky in Nepal. And there's many laws and obstacles that make it unviable. The biggest, I can go into details. The biggest problem, which all of us face in our own houses, is there's no steady supply of industrial water. And guess what beer is? 95% of it is water. And if you don't have water, you don't have beer. And you need a constant supply. The other big problem that every household faces also is there is no government waste disposable infrastructure. There's no industrial piping lines that take your effluent away. So where are you going to throw this? It's a big problem. So you don't have water, you don't have a place to throw it. We used to not have electricity, which was also a big problem, but now at least we hope that we have electricity. But if you know the restaurant business, the key problem also is, 80% of revenue is on Friday and Saturday, which is great. But the problem is a microbrewery has to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you go to Delhi or India or any other place, anywhere in the world, restaurants are packed all 7 days. So you're stuck with 2 days of actually making money and 6 days of just sitting around idle. A microbrewery is a small brewery, but it's not as efficient as a big brewery. So your production costs are much higher also. And also to open a microbrewery, you must have land, you must buy land. As a Nepal ko date, whether you're in Kathmandu or Pokhara or anywhere, land is not cheap. Land is very expensive. तपाईले एउटा माइक्रोब्रेवरी खोल्नलाई कम्तीमा 10 देखि 20 करोड पैसा लगानी गर्न पर्छ with land minimum. And that's a big investment. You can open up a factory for that price. This doesn't include the brewmaster. You must have a trained person to make good beer. Just like a good cook needs a good equipment and good raw materials, you must have a good cook, which is a brewmaster. A brewmaster is expensive. They don't come for 50,000 rupees a month. They come for 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs a month. Our brewery, our brewmasters cost more than 20 lakhs a month also. So a brewmaster is critical. And if you don't have a good one, you're going to be in deep trouble. Unlike the Western world, Hamro Nepalma, the main problem is there's economic problem. People like things cheap. They want a simple, non-bitter beer, and then only a very small percentage will pay extra. The biggest problems are because of these high costs, you won't make money, first of all, but the main thing is the cost of your local microbrewery will be more expensive than if you imported a microbrewery brand from USA, from anywhere in the world, will be cheaper than a microbrewery brand. So this is the core problem. I wish it wasn't, but.
Well, so basically, it's not feasible in Nepal's context, and I think you said, pretty interesting things over here. Like, yeah, it's right. Like in Nepal, we have 80% of revenues comes 2 days a week. You mentioned that, and you also spoke about the disposable waste disposable management part, which is definitely a big issue in Nepal, and of course the higher production costs. So overall, it's not feasible as compared to, because the reason I asked this question, because only yesterday I was reading and I was reading on Czech Republic and how they have really explored this idea, and then the other Eastern European countries too. However, it's not feasible in Nepal. Thank you, Raj, for taking. Yeah.
In countries like Germany and Czech Republic, तिनीहरू पानी त खाँदैन, तिनीहरू बिहानदेखि बेर खान्छ क्या. हाम्रो नेपाली त होइन नि, हामी त फ्राइडे स्याटरडे साथीहरूसँग त खाने हो. Whereas in Czechoslovakia, when they're waiting for their train at 6 a.m., guess what they're holding? They're holding a big mug of beer. Nepalमा यस्तो छैन. Thank God.
True. Very well said, Razdan. Thank you for the follow-up answer to that question earlier. Now, like Razdan, my next question is got to do with this certain code of ethics, actually. And the reason why my motivation behind coming up to this question was because I was reading the new laws of liquor and tobacco of the new Nepal's constitution, and there it states that about the full control on the marketing advertisements of the liquor industry, and it also states about 75% of the whole packaging of liquor should be mentioned about statutory warnings and stuff, which hasn't yet come into operation in Nepal yet. So this was my main motivation for my next question, which is all organizations must follow a certain code of ethics. Without ethics, we lose social responsibility. One sector where ethics is hotly debated is the alcohol industry. There is a lot of disagreements that arise with the marketing and production of alcohol, and it's important to understand where the industry currently stands. Hence, why is ethical alcohol production important, Rajs?
Thank you. Good and complicated question. Let me go back a little bit. If you do any research, for hundreds of years, traditionally, there's always been a lot of tax evasion with alcohol. It's simply because for every 100 rupees that you are paying, 70 rupees is tax. And so you actually are only working with 30 rupees. But can you imagine if you stole all 70? So it's very attractive for people to steal. Many countries all over the world depend on the revenues they earn from alcohol and tobacco. To be honest, many of these countries, the revenues generated from these two industries pay for all public schools and pay for all hospitals. So in Nepal, if there was no alcohol and tobacco, there would be no public school and no hospital. That's how much money we generate. Believe it or not, it's probably the best way to contribute to the country is by drinking alcohol, because 70% of whatever you're paying is going to the government. It's almost like CSR, if you want to call it. But the problem is with most developing countries is corruption. Corruption is very, very difficult. And wherever there's poverty, wherever there's political instability, it is a breeding ground for corruption. Another point you have to realize, there is a lot of negative media about alcohol, but it's only 2% of the population who actually abuse alcohol, and they shouldn't drink, but they give it a bad name. They give it a horrible name. But there's nothing wrong if you want to have a drink with your friends after a hard day's work, go to a marriage, or there's a beautiful festival going on. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to control, just like everything in life. You'd be surprised, more people abuse medicine than alcohol. Alcohol is a choice. You're free. We live in a democratic world, right? If you don't want to drink, don't drink. If you're a vegetarian, I feel sorry for you, but it's your choice. But for me, life without alcohol is like dancing with no music. It's possible, but it's not that much fun. You have to realize things are changing now, and there's so many other addiction problems. One of the worst addictions today is the internet and social media. I'm a father of two, and I have another child on my way, And I'm more worried about internet addiction than alcohol addiction. It's a serious problem today. And we have done well simply because we believe in ethics. We're not thieves. You know, we've been in the business for many generations and we have learned to survive for many generations. And the one critical thing is you must be clean. If you're dirty, they will catch you and you will have to leave, you'll have to run away. We're very proud to be one of the highest tax-paying companies in Nepal for many years. In 1819, our taxes crossed over 1,700 crores, and that money is needed in Nepal. There are other companies that do more than us, like Ansel, Surya Tobacco, and Gorkha Brewery, but they're owned by foreigners, and their profits are going back to their own countries. So we feel it's important that the country needs good businessmen to go forward. But the situation is not that way. The sad truth is, in Nepal, whether it be businessmen or politicians, 80–90% of them are not clean. You'd be surprised. 80–90% of doctors, lawyers, and even chartered accountants don't pay their taxes. The big joke is everyone thinks we businessmen are rich, but the truth is the richest people in Nepal are politicians. So things have to change, but the change has to come from the youth. Thanks.
Fantastic, Rajsdai. Very bold, very fearless, and true. In detail. I think you really covered up in a nutshell. So it's a common problem that we're all facing. This elements of ethics and morals is a common issue that's been faced by all the Nepalese across all professions, not only business owners per se. That being said, you are one of the highest taxpayers, so definitely that balances and neutralizes, most of the topics. Now,
can I add something?
Please.
See, Tarun, के छ भने यो ethics भन्ने शब्द यो घरमै सिक्नुपर्छ क्या. You have to learn this from home, from your young child age, from your parents. And if you don't learn that at a young age, later on it'll be much difficult for you.
True. Absolutely. Well said. 100% agree to what we just said. Thank you, Rajsdai, for taking that question. Now, we spoke a lot about the market dynamics and stuff. Now, I would like to dig in a little bit on my next question is more focused on your organization, Rajsdai, because, Jawalakhel Group of Industries is one of the largest employers in Nepal when you talk about the whole conglomerate of the industries as a whole, including all your distilleries and everything. So you all do hire a certain number of staff annually across your factories and marketing and stuff like that, So I want you to touch up a little bit on that, on your how many numbers of staff, for example, you hire on an annual basis, and a little bit on their induction, modes and culture of your organization. I would request you to touch upon the values of your corporate organization, and finally end with a little bit on your corporate social responsibility part. So your culture, values, your annual hiring, and your CSR, please, if you don't mind.
Sure. Okay. Right now we have about 1,500 full-time employees, but it goes up and down. I have to recruit about 200 to 300 employees every year. My company is a training ground, a university, if you so call it. Anyone who joins my company, they leave it because they're getting double salary. Our company, though we're small, we have 100 distributors, and in the trade, the industry employs more than 200,000 to 300,000 people. And most of these shops would not survive without the revenue come from our brands. So it's very important. But with our values, the first thing I'd like to say is, for us, it's more than a business. It's who we are. And whatever we do, we like to be the best in it. Nothing less than any international company or brand. With technology today, you can find the best of consultants, the best of suppliers, the best of innovation. So there's no excuse on why not to be the best. We focus a lot on investing in R&D and in continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is something all of us have to do in our lives forever. Our real job is not to make alcoholic beverages. Our real job is to make our customers happy, help them enjoy life and all of its celebrations. That's our job. Life would be boring without our products, and we don't like it. And I know a lot of our customers all over the world feel that they'll enjoy our products. We invest in our people a lot. We keep them motivated and effective. New employees, 30 days of training a year, old employees 8 days of training a year. We focus a lot on grooming, on mentoring, on shadowing, but we have a very aggressive HR program, much more than most companies do. But we know that if you don't, it's expensive to train people, but it's much more expensive to have untrained people in the market. We do a lot of CSR. It's come down recently because of, again, government restrictions are trying to crack down on us. But we really like to promote local youth events, local sports, local cinema, music, fashion, and ethnic events, especially the ethnic events. It's so much fun, whether it be Losa or Holi or Dasai. But if we don't invest, if big corporates don't invest in cinema, sports, music, and fashion, these poor artists would have no chance. It's shameful to think what our national players earn. It's shameful in the sense that I don't even want to give the numbers how bad it is. They probably make, I'm not going to give names, but they probably make, I would say, more than 80% of their income is from sponsorship. Only 20% is from the actual sports. So we feel it's important. Giving back to the country is critical. During the earthquake, we were very fortunate to be one of the highest contributors to the earthquake fund. With this whole COVID thing, we're still trying to figure it out. Being in the distillery business, we make alcohol. So that's perfect for hand sanitizers, disinfectant, and antiseptic. We are selling to few, but we're trying to build these ourselves, make these ourselves, but my government permissions haven't come in. But I feel that this problem is not like an earthquake that happens for 10 or 20 seconds. This is going to last a long time. So we're still trying to figure out what exactly we need to do to help the people of Nepal. Thanks.
Thank you, Rajdai. And I was really, impressed how your main focus, among everything that you spoke about your cultures and your values before your, CSR, of course, you mainly touched on the importance of your people and team, and how you invest on your people, how you invest in your team. And I think that's so important because human capital is the most important element and assets that an organization has. And like you rightfully said, ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Raj just mentioned right now, annually he takes around 200 to 300, people into the organization. And once they, leave the organization, they have got a stamp on their CV, which enables them to get double the salary amount, as I just mentioned right now. So that speaks about their immense organizational, value and the culture and their image in the market. Thank you, Rajdai, for taking that question. Now, Razak, we have two more questions, but before that, I just had a question which came to my mind right now, which I want to ask you. So, sure. Because like you said, Nepal is the one of the youngest countries in the world, and when we say that, we are talking about so many fresh graduates that that complete their degrees on an annual basis. So, do you, as an organization, do you have any policies to intake, certain interns or fresh graduates into your organization? Do you have such kind of policies? Please, you give a smile right there.
I'm 44 and I'm considered an old man. I know. As of Kodinma, you need youth. You don't need experience. You need someone who knows how to use Facebook, YouTube, someone who knows how to use Google. You don't need someone who's got a degree in 1980 from TU. You need youth people. Like most smart companies, even we want to only hire people under 35. We want to hire aggressive young people who want to learn. We do internships. We do things, but it's very competitive. We think the youth is the future, but it's mainly because of the digital world. You need the people who've grown up with the phone, who are comfortable with it, and know how to do it. The world is changing so fast now. And the young people are the future. And now more than ever, they're needed. Not because it sounds nice, because it's essential for business, because it's good for business. Not just young people, you need women in the workforce. We are aggressively trying to recruit young women because women are the future. They are very good workers. We have a great team of dynamic young women in our workforce, and they make such a difference in our office. They're more loyal and they can multitask. They're very good when it comes to being calm and collective, where the guys are kind of jungly, who want to get one job and move to another job. The women in my company are honest people, are hardworking people, and they make a difference. And for Nepal to grow, we need the women to step up to the plate and get the good jobs.
Razda, I mean, I love how you ended off with this whole angle of women employees and their efficiency over, just coincidentally, in fact, our last talk show, we had one of the topics was part of the topic was women leadership, and we in fact discussed about the same points which you just echoed right now. And I absolutely agree with you in that respect because they are more, what do you call it? They're great at multitasking. They're more passionate about the thing. They have high emotional levels connected. And I absolutely agree with you. And this and their tendency to switch between organizations is much more lesser as compared to the other sex. Thank you so much, Raza, for taking that question. Now, Raza, I have one. Looks like we really spread across all the question answers. Now I have my last question to you, which I would request you to take a little extra minutes to describe. It's about this messages to the aspiring youth. So my last message to you, Rajda, is that what are your messages to the aspiring youth of Nepal who are ambitious and who want to be successful? Could you give me a little bit more details, your whole thoughts and what you feel about this, Rajda, please? Thank you.
Sure. Well, the world is ahead of you. Warren Buffett has $100 billion, and people ask him all the time, if you had one wish, what could it be? And his wish was, I wish I was 40 years younger. So it's a great time. The youth is something that is, something that you must enjoy. You must be responsible. Today is a very challenging time. And there's a lot of stress behind it also, I understand. The young people of today, the type of attention they have, expectations they have, competition they have, it's much harder than before. When my parents were in business, the only challenge was how much can you make, not how much can you sell. But today it is different. So the young people must really work hard and think clearly. I realize a big problem in our country is, I think we have over 100,000 college graduates a year, and not even half of them are getting jobs. So that's a problem. And what happens, that 50, 60,000 people, they have to go to the Middle East or Malaysia and work as laborers because there's no job. So this is the big problem. Our whole country is only surviving because of remittance. Nothing else will work right now. Without remittance, we're in deep trouble. And if all our Nepalese workers start heading home because the malls close, the restaurants close, we are in trouble, serious trouble. So yes, going abroad, it's not easy, but yes, you make good money. If you can go abroad, make some good money and come back home and do something good with it, it would be good. It would be good for you not just to bring back money, but to bring back skills, to bring back work ethic. Today, a lot of people don't want to go abroad because it's really hard. I've been to the Middle East, I've been to Malaysia. बिचारा हाम्रो नेपालीहरू कुकुर जस्तो काम गर्नुपर्छ. They literally work 18-hour shifts sometimes. And most Nepalese cannot do that. It's kind of scary because नेपालीहरू बाहिर गएपछि एकदम काम गर्ने, सबै गर्ने, नेपाल आएपछि भाग जस्तो, कामै नगर्ने, एकदम अल्छी. This has to change. There's a cultural problem in Nepal where we blame fate. If something bad happens, God didn't allow it. It's such a shame. People need to work on their work ethic. They have to learn from their parents. If you don't work hard, if you don't get up early in the morning and slog, you're not going to make it. If you want to join the Olympics, it's very simple. For 7-8 years, you need to work out 6 hours a day. If you do it, you'll go to the Olympics. If you don't, it's not going to happen. Same thing with work and success. Nothing comes easy in life. You have to realize that. You hear these success stories about someone who made $1 billion overnight, but believe me, that person is 1 out of a million, 1 out of a billion. So you need to work. But today, the one thing that I strongly suggest to young people is think digital. The future is digital. The future is everything on your phone. Everyone has one in Nepal now. They don't know how to read and write, but they have Facebook. It's scary. And they spend so much money on their phone. I was friends with one of the Encel CEOs, and he said, Raj, people, more cell phones are sold in Nepal than toothbrushes. Someone will keep a toothbrush for 3 years, but they'll change their phone every year. That's how scary it is.
Wow.
But you have to go digital. You have to learn hard, you have to work hard, and you have to constantly educate yourself. And yes, you might be saying, oh, I'm in Nepal, there's lockdown, my college is closed. No way. You have free education, it's right on your phone. Google it, WhatsApp, there's TED Talk, there's so much things. Information is no longer restricted. Anything you want to know is available to you. Anything you want to buy is available to you. You don't have to just sell in Nepal or in Kathmandu. You can sell anything, anywhere in the world, anytime also. So this is a very exciting time for young people, but they need to be on board. Their English has to be good, and their technical skills, their digital skills must be excellent, more than anything else, and you have to work hard. If you read a lot of books, which I like to do, the most successful people in the world on the planet are people who wake up early in the morning. This means 5 to 6 o'clock. If you don't wake up before 6 o'clock, something is wrong. You're lazy. You need to wake up early so you have that extra 3-4 hours of time to work. That's the first advice I can give you. If you don't wake up early, you're staying up too late. You're watching too much TV at night. You need to wake up early with a fresh, cool mind so you can work hard. You need to be ethical. Our country needs ethics more than ever before. You need to follow the rules so you can sleep well at night. Yeah. You don't want to end up in jail. You don't want to have to run away. It's so sad when you see people do this. They make money fast, but they lose it fast also. Business is a journey. You must take your time. When I read once, when people are lying on their deathbed, when they're sick, they don't have that many days left before they die. The only regret they have is what they didn't do in life. Oh, bekarma मैले यो किन गरेन, त्यो किन गरेन. For you young people, don't wait till you're too old. If there's something you want to do, if you have a gut feeling, whether it be business, whether it be education, whether there's a beautiful girl you want to say hello to, just go and do it. The most successful people in the world are the ones who actually get off their chair and get out of their comfort zone, we call it. So you need to be able to do that. Or else you're going to be an old man or an old lady saying, hey, I wish I should have done, I wish I did that, I wish I did this. You need to, if there's something you want, you need to go after it. Today is a very, very challenging time. COVID-19 is not a joke. Don't believe the news. This is going to be here for at least 2-3 years. There's no tourism coming to Nepal right now. Things are going to be difficult, but it is your choice. Are you going to make this a nightmare, or are you going to make this an opportunity? There are so many people already working day and night to make money, and they're making so much money overnight. I just hope if you get your act together that you can be one of them. Thank you.
Remarkable. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I can reply back to the answer which I just gave, these are words from a legend, Mr. Raj. So just to repeat a couple of words that he mentioned, building of skills. This is a message to the youths in general. Building skills, working hard, thinking digital, language, developing your language skills, developing your technical skills, reading books, waking up early, developing strong ethics. Marvelous, Rajbhai. And I think that was a very powerful message which you gave out to the youths. I mean, I myself had a little bit of goosebumps while you were talking, so I'm pretty sure a lot of viewers, must be motivated by what you just said. And yeah, I think that was, this pretty much sums up the talk show with your last inspirational message. So Theo Bande, Raza, I would like to really thank you for taking out your time. Well, actually, just to let the viewers know, the last Friday, the reason we didn't have a talk show is because Mr. Raj was not available last minute. So that's the reason we are doing 2 talk shows this week, which is today with Mr. Raj himself. Thank you, Rajbhai, to take out some time from your busy schedule to give out some nice, inspiring messages. And I think we got a very good understanding on this really, sensitive subject. When it comes to liquor, when it comes to alcohol, our traditional Nepali mind frame looks at it in a very conservative manner. So I think you gave it in a very positive, way to describe all the points that you discussed. So thank you for that once again. Now, Theo Bande, I think we are wrapped up. Unless any last few messages you want to give out, Razdai, before we wrap up. Is that all?
I'm good. Thank you for spending the time. I hope I can make a difference in one or two of the listeners. If I've done that, I'm very happy. My message to all is please be careful. Take care of your parents. Take care of your families, your neighbors. This is not a joke. Wear your masks. Don't touch things. Wash your hands. Do social distancing. This is not a joke, you guys. You need to be serious. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would like to just repeat the same words Mr. Raj said before ending this talk show. COVID is a very serious scenario that we are facing, and we are having a huge difficulty looking like going forward. So please, keep your social distancing factors on, wear your masks all the time. Please take care of yourselves and especially your families at home who are maybe more vulnerable to any kind of such infections. So please do that. And Theo Bande, I would like to end off this talk show with a hope. It's only a hope that we can say that life can resume back to normal. Though normal is not going to be the same how it was pre-COVID time. But we really need that because everything is stuck. I mean, I'm doing this from our DB Education's perspective and representing them, but then everything is closed. So we don't really know how things are going to look ahead. We can only wish and hope that things get back to normal. So Theo Bande, more your talk show as thank you so much all the viewers for being a part of this talk show. I would like to wish all the viewers a very happy weekend going forward. Please take care of yourselves and have a nice relaxing weekend. Razdai, thank you so much. And I can see from your background, Razdai, it looks like you're dreaming of some vacation, and it looks wonderful. Thank you so much.
Dreaming is good.
Dreaming is good. Dreaming is good. It's essential because only then can we actually visualize and make it real. So that's another message right there. Thank you so much, Razdai. Wish you a very happy weekend. Thank you so much. Take care. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.